When it's cold outside, snow's blowing, the first thing I think about is braising. And today I'm going to make a braised chicken with baby potatoes. Very, very simple, delicious, and really the oven does most of the work. I'm starting with a cut up chicken, and this chicken I cut up myself. You can buy it already cut up if you like, but if you want to save yourself a couple of bucks, just go ahead and cut up the chicken yourself. You get great results. So I'm just going to season this with a little pan searing flour, and we know this already has salt and pepper in it, so that's going to season it as well as help us provide a nice crust. So I'm going to dust it on both sides. Just give it a turn. And make sure we've got some good coverage on both sides with the flour. Again, and in the meantime, I've got a pan, a braising pan, preheating on medium-high. And after my chicken's dusted, just going to go ahead and add a couple tablespoons of olive oil right to my braising pan. And this is a really crucial step in any braise. Developing that crust, that sear on your protein, is going to lend some flavor to the finished sauce. So you want to make sure that your oil is smoking faintly. And then we'll just lay our pieces right down. And we'll let the pan do the work at this point. And what we're looking for is a paper bag brown. This is going to take about 8 or 10 minutes to get this brown thoroughly. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes, and if you look at the chicken, this is exactly the color that I'm looking for. We call it paper bag brown, but you want a nice sear on there because that's really going to add to the finished dish. So what I'm going to do is just to remove it from the pan, and I have a clean plate here. I'm going to remove my chicken pieces right to the pan. Okay. And I'm going to remove all but 1 tablespoon of the fat that's in this pan, and we're going to start building our sauce. Perfect. So what I have here, so I've got 3 tablespoons of minced shallot, and for those of you that don't know what a shallot is, it's sort of like a cross between a red onion and garlic. So it's got the bite of garlic but the sweetness of red onion, and I want to sweat that out right in the pan. And you can see I've got all these little brown bits on the bottom, and that's called fond. And I want to remove those from the bottom of the pan. The steam from the shallot is going to start to do that. Just want to move these around for just a minute or two, just to start the cooking process. And then I have 8 ounces of mixed mushrooms, and these are a great convenience item. This is a cremini, shiitake, and oyster mushrooms, and I'm just going to add that right on top of the shallots, both packages, right on top. And then these are going to cook for about 3 or 4 minutes. A lot of water content in mushrooms, so that's going to help remove that fond from the bottom of the pan, but we also want to take some time to cook some of that water out. So after about 3 or 4 minutes, this is what we're looking for. You can see that my mushrooms have softened up a little bit. They're starting to turn translucent. So I'm going to finish the deglazing process. I've got half a cup of good quality white wine. And I'm going to go ahead with my spoon, and I'm really going to scrape the bottom of the pan now just to make sure I've got all those nice little brown bits off of the bottom. Okay? And I want to thicken this sauce up just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead, after the wine reduces a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and add just a couple of tablespoons, 3 tablespoons actually, of our pan searing flour. Okay? Right in there, and you're going to see this is going to start to thicken the sauce almost immediately. And then I've got 2 cups of chicken stock that I'm adding right to that. And I want to bring this up to a simmer. Make sure everything's stirred in nice. And then I'm just going to go ahead with my chicken, and I'm going to add it all right back to the pan. All those nice juices from the plate as well. Make sure everything's spread out nice. And then I've got 3/4 of a pound of baby potatoes. You can use red potatoes, but we want to make sure they're all sort of the same size so they'll cook consistently. I'm just going to tuck those in between the pieces of chicken. And as soon as this comes up to a simmer, just going to go ahead and cover it. I've got an oven preheated to 350 degrees. Go right into that 350 degree oven for about an hour. And it's important that you get it up to a simmer before it goes in the oven so the cooking can continue immediately. If it's not simmering, it can take a little bit longer. Okay, so it's been an hour, and that's what we're looking for. Chicken is nice and tender, but we're going to go ahead and finish the sauce now. So I'm going to remove the pieces of chicken. Just got a clean plate here. You can see that's just falling right off the bone. Still has that nice color from the sear. Gonna go ahead and remove that. Our sauce is starting to thicken up nicely. Potatoes are cooked through. But I want to brighten this sauce up just a little bit. And I've got a couple of nice ingredients I'm gonna add to it. Also want to make it a one-pot deal, so everything is right here that I need. The chicken pieces go right off onto the plate. And now I want to bring this back up to the simmer. Okay, so I'll just crank the heat on it one more time. Bring it back up. And what I have here, about 8 ounces of chopped escarole. You can buy it already cleaned and chopped, or chop it yourself, whichever. I'm going to add that right too. And I just want to wilt that down, which is to say I want to soften it for about 5 minutes. Escarole is a pretty sturdy green, so I want to make sure that I give this a head start before I add the rest of the things to the sauce. Okay, so the escarole is nicely wilted. You can see it's still that nice vibrant green. We're going to go ahead and brighten up the rest of the sauce. I've got 2 tablespoons of chopped tarragon, almost like a real licoricey flavor. It's good. The flavors of this dish really remind me of the Provence region of France. So I think it's going to be something unusual for you. 2 roasted red peppers. You can buy them right off of the olive bar, or you can buy them canned or roast them yourself if you like. And then I've got just some capers, some nice briny capers. Really going to punch up the acid in this dish a little bit, brighten it up. Just go ahead and stir those all around. You can see, look at the beautiful colors we've got in there. Smells fantastic. I'm going to add my chicken now back to the pan. And then just for one last little bit of punch and flavor, I really love the way acid, vinegar, things like that brighten a dish, just like the capers did. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to squeeze some lemon juice right over the top. But first I want to get all those nice juices in there. And I've got a lemon here. Then I'm just going to go ahead and squeeze right over the top of the whole dish. Oh, it's beautiful. Lemon and chicken, very classic pairing. Really brightens up the dish. And a lot of times you can use acid in lieu of salt. Go ahead and taste it. Salt and pepper as you want. Right there. Just make sure it comes back up to a simmer. Let all the flavors have a chance to marry. Braised chicken with baby potatoes. All you need for this, it's a one-pot deal. Loaf of crusty bread, glass of your favorite wine. It's a perfect way to spend a winter's night. Go ahead and try it at home.